Hey y'all, I'm Heather and welcome to my channel, The Debt Free Quilter. Today we're going to be talking about a big O block. Now, some of you get your mind out of the gutter. This is an example of a partial seam block. And I will show you exactly how we achieve that. Now, for those of you who have never done partial seams, don't worry, this one's not scary. It's actually very simple. Let's get started. We are starting our process with our flip corner squares by drawing a line down the center from point to point, so we may sew on that line and cut off what we do not need. It helps if you have a ruler that is the right size. Now we're going to be sewing our strips together in groups of 2, and then we'll decide where we want to place them around our center square. Now we are going to press these, and honestly it does not matter how you press these since none of the seams are going to match up or touch or anything like that. So you could press to one side, you could press to the dark side, you could press them open. It's completely and totally up to you how you choose to press these. Now it's time to arrange our rectangle units around our center square. Now it's time to add our flip corners to the sides where we will be sewing them. Now it's time to sew our flip corner squares onto our rectangle units. As with any flip corner, we check to make sure that we have all of our space covered to create the finished rectangle, and we trim off the excess a 1/4 inch away from the line we sewed. And now we will set our seams and press the flip corners open to create the finished rectangle unit. Now it's time to lay out our block. Now comes the part with the not so scary partial seam. To begin, we lay our center square on one side of our rectangle units. Now we are going to start about halfway from the end of the block. I know right there it looks like a lot less, but I choose to start about at that point where I have the pin. And I'm making a mark at around about 1/4 of an inch, and then coming down a little bit further to give us just a little bit more room. And then we're going to sew from that second mark down to the end of the unit. Pressing on this step is going to be very important. You want to set your seam and then press it away from the center toward the rectangle unit. Yes, I had to check my pattern for this. Now pressing it this way is important because you want to be able to fold that piece back out of the way for when you attach the fourth piece before you can finish your seams. Now we're going to attach the second of our 4 rectangle units, and this one we're going to sew all the way down. And once again, we're going to set our seam and press away from the center out toward that rectangle unit. We're going to continue doing this for the next 2 pieces, and then we'll sew our partial seam. This is where we want to be able to fold down our first piece that we attached with the partial seam. So we don't want to sew it by mistake. Now as you can see, I can fold that first piece we attach right back over, give that seam a little bit of a press, and we're going to go back to the sewing machine and finish that seam. We'll start a little bit past where we had started our seam originally and sew right on down off the edge of the block. And once again, we press this block over away from the center, and there you have it, a completed big O block. Looks pretty good to me. Alright y'all, so we've got finished, and as you can see our little thread nest on the back. That's what happens when you make this type of partial seam. It's totally fine, it's not a big thing. No one is ever going to see it. That's the important step, that's the important part. But overall it came out super quick, it was super easy, and it turned out really, really nice. Well, that's going to be it for this block. So have a great day. Have a great week. We'll see you in the next video.